Ladies and gentlemen, Niache was say welcome back to the PP's Fun and Adventure, and we are back with yet another interesting video. But before that, Mr. B, tunafanya nini leo?
Yes. Leo tunaendeleza our experience abroad.
Yeah. So last time, in our last video, we gave you a snap peek of our experience abroad, like mtu umepata scholarship, the transition period, etc. So today tunaendelea kuambia mtu like, okay, tushafika huko, apart from hizo settlement and everything, what else? Tunaenda kupeana the positive side, let me say the positive amazing side of our stay outside the country. So tutaanza na Mr. B atuambie venye amefika, alifika Turkey. Najua last time alikuwa amepotea kamtu yeah, last time it gotten he lost so much. He was broke. He didn't have Turkish currency and all dollars, but now we want to know, despite all those things, what is this that he can talk in terms of experience that can inspire somebody outside there also who wants to pursue his studies in Turkey, for example.
Yes. Sijata nianza aje because Turkey ilini change sana, especially in a perception of view. Ilini change akili yangu completely na there is this instance that napenda sana kushare. In Turkey, the public transport is usually better than the private transport.
Wow.
Yeah. And kuna venya kunanga conductor kwa hiyo mabuses. Sasa you usually have your card na umeweka pesa hapo na unapitia mbele karibu na driver na unaweka hivi card yako inatoa pesa. As a student, of course, uko na ile discount. Siku za kwanza mimi nilikuwa napita na slippy. Now nobody even is concerned na unakaa tu. So
Ukenya.
Na ukiona the Turkish boys huko, they are so disciplined. Hata mtu akiingilia na nyuma utaona anapitisha kadi yake waende wa deduct pesa. So that is something yenye ilini change within the first 1 month. Nilikuwa nimejalign kukuwa too truthful na kufanya vitu in the right way. Saa ikafika mahali pia mimi hata kama sina pesa kwa card, I rather pay somebody watoe kwa hiyo yake. And this just kufikiria outside the box and being a little bit truthful. Naona zile za like in Turkish culture, people don't lie. Ukiuliza mtu uko wapi atakwambia niko hapa na ni kweli. They don't lie at all. So hizo vitu pia zilini change. That was the first thing. Number 2, I was able to get new friends. Nilipata marafiki from different continents. Turkish people, Arabic, from Americas, the Europe. And I was also able to walk around the world. Niliweza kwenda Italy. I was able to go to Gambia also. Yeah, among the few countries I nili visit. Yeah, and I also nilijiendeleza na kipaji changu cha kucheza mpira. I was playing football. I was being paid to play football.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think culture integration pia ni kitu ya muhimu. And lastly, kitu kingine nilibamba sana ni I was able to nilipata job ya kufunza English. With my poor English here in Kenya, when I went to Turkey, since they don't know Turkish, they don't know English, I was able to get a school where I was teaching English. And of course, I learned how to speak in Turkish. So I added a new language into my store of language. You know, that is my best experience in Turkey. Asibiwe ilikuwaje?
Yeah, okay. For me, allow me to start from the point that in terms of accommodation, it's something very new I learned, and it's something that I need to tell somebody mwenye ana plan kwenda majuu, especially European countries. Ama you are planning to go to Germany. It's important that you start looking for your accommodation earlier enough in the online links, in the online platforms. Like they have something called the VG gesucht, or you apply with your university or wherever you are going on time. Because for me, like it took me around from June. I did my application of the house in June, and I entered June 2019, and I entered the house in January 2020. So in between there, you know, you are waiting. So accommodation, I found it to be something very, very delicate and very, very difficult to get in Germany. But it's not like like if you apply on time and if you are well prepared about it, you have to learn that. And then I also learned something new. Abroad, here it is very awkward. You find that we have ladies hostels and men hostels. Abroad, I realized that even the university hostels are just mixed up. Like, people imagine all of you are very responsible and moral people, that you can just operate yourselves in the best way. Because like the hostel where I have stayed, it's a university apartment. It's a mixture of both men and women. There's no, like, where you find, like, for example, where I came from here, you could find that Nyayo 2 is for girls alone. Sijui Ngong what is for girls alone. So there's that kind of mixture. And for me, out of that mixture, and it's a mixture of people from different countries, cultures, religion, and for me it was something very good, because then you could have parties together, you could have like movie watching together as a hostel, etc. And for me that was a very big plus. And it also gave people that sense of security. Like, even if you are walking at night, stairs up, and you find like a man, as a lady you are not like, oh, he's likely maybe to sexually harass me or those things. So one thing I learned in Germany is like, that gender integration and was very important, and the cultural integration part of it in terms of accommodation. And then I also I think the best experience I ever had is getting the international platform. I will explain why, by the way. Nikitoka hapa, I came from Kenyatta University as the best graduate. Throughout my life, I have been always that, position 1 girl. And then KU ndio hiyo best graduate, and then I have a scholarship to go abroad. So for me, it was an opportunity to challenge myself within that international platform. And I remember I and with my colleague from Uganda, we went for a competition in the UN, and we were the second runners up. And that was the best thing that ever happened. And then we also entered into another competition, published a paper, and then we were position 2. And then from there, I started attending conferences and competitions, and I was able to pitch my ideas, to the international platform. And I realized that outside there, people listen to your ideas, and then they charge you. Not like charging you before they listen to your ideas. Because sometimes back here at home, I could keep quiet with my ideas, and because sometimes you say something and before you even complete, somebody has trashed it down like crazy. But I realized outside there, I was comfortably able to pitch my ideas, many of them that I have put even into publications, I have presented in competitions and have won awards. Some of those ideas which I could pitch to my fellow Kenyans here, and they could trust those ideas. And so most of the ideas that were trashed when I was here in the country are the ideas that I won rewards and gifts, and and made me to tour. Like, I really toured Europe. I really toured Europe. Nimetembea countries in Europe. And for me, that scent and fish sa ukikuwa nayo iti hiyo resident permit ya Germany, unaweza tembea all the 27 European countries. It was a plus for me, and I have really traveled. I can't count even the number of countries, but I've really traveled. I have enjoyed traveling. And another thing is the efficient transport system, especially when, let me talk about the long distance passes, because sometimes trains huwa sinakuwa na delays. But the long distance passes nilispenda because hizo passes ni kama ndege bwana, because they even have the lavatories inside. They're very comfortable. You book them online. I loved them. There's one pass called the Flixbus. It's very cheap. The funny thing, it's very cheap, but it is very comfortable and very, very, yani ni mzuri tu. Literally, it's a good one. Yeah. And then another experience, I made good friends. Like, I really met friends from outside Kenya. Like I met people from West Africa, from European countries, from America. Yeah, for me, I was able to expand my network, and trust me, that network, if I was to be here, sidhani kama ningeipata. Like you really meet people, the people who criticize your ideas but help you to grow. And you also meet people who you have like same agenda. And out of that, I was able to enter into different platforms as a consultant. Most of the platforms where I'm a consultant and an expert right now, si eti hata nilipewa na watu wenye wako, up there. It is of this small network you come up with as a student, or somebody anajua, Catherine is doing this, and then you find that they have recommended your name somewhere. And so for me, I found a network, and I was able to expand my network. And trust me, that network is very important. It's a network that I didn't have so much in Kenya, because when I was here, my network was somehow confined to Kenya and my two friends from Ethiopia. Let me say, those were my major friends. Like that was my major network. But the moment I stepped my feet in Germany, I really made a network. You don't know, because it's a network even you yourself sometimes you don't have control over in terms of making. Because you present a paper in a conference, 5 or 6 days later, you get an email that, hey, so and so, you have been recommended by so and so to our organization. We are looking, for example, for an expert in this field. Could you mind helping us? So you find that your ideas are selling you outside there. And for me, that was a very, very big plus in terms of networking. And then I also was able to add a new language. In as much as the language interested us, learning the language was hard. But adding that language to my languages was very important. Because now I started feeling confident that even if I leave Germany, I go to a country like Austria, a country like Switzerland, I was able to communicate. You get that confident because, like, even if people are talking, you are not blank. Even when you are interacting with now the Germans themselves, you feel confident, like you can contribute, you can engage in a conversation. And for me, I really thank my scholarship provider for having enabled me to have that language. Because even right now, sometimes when you do applications and you find like they need an extra language and you realize that language is German, you feel like yes. So for me, that was a really plus. And I was also able to get new foods. For the first time, I ate something called the fufu from West Africa. I ate my first fufu actually when I was there, and the jollof rice, and so there was a lot of in terms of delicacies, learning new things, touring cities, those experiences. And having to witness all those 4 seasons, summer, autumn, winter, and spring. That was very epic, but I hated winter because it's extremely cold. But it was so nice watching the times change. Like during summer, you find that the country has gone ahead by 1 hour. During winter, it has gone behind by 2 hours. So for me, that was also a pleasant. Those was my best experiences. And given a chance, I can tell somebody that just to go outside and explore the world. Don't confine yourself that mimi ninataka kukaa huku, because if you don't go outside there, you will never appreciate Kenya. And by the way, ndio kitu nitawaambia, like when you are outside there, how do you feel about Kenya?
You see, when you are outside there, you see Kenya ni kama unaiangalia hivi juu. You follow everything, politics, the social happenings in the country, and you are critical and you try to maybe measure it, unaipima kufuatana na venye unaona kwingine maybe in the country. And we are privileged kwamba tuliweza kuwa in a country yenye iko more developed than Kenya. But sasa penye nilikuja kujua kwamba Kenya we are in like heaven, ninge compare when like there is this time I can remember where the journalists walichukua our former president Uhuru Kenyatta, ilikuwa iko Mombasa, and then they were shooting very difficult questions about his government. And I remember I was having my friend from Cameroon, and he was like, "Is that your president? And are those journalists from US or UK?" And I told them, but there are even people I know. There's one of the journalists who is a personal friend. Nikamwambia, tu ni wa Kenya. Asema, in his country, only journalists from France can interrogate their president. Other people, if you ask the president such tough questions, you'll be jailed. So from there niliweza kwanza kuinteract nao, nikajua venye hata kama hapa Kenya tunalialia, then outside there it's hot. So that's how I started maybe appreciating my country and saying, wow, kumbe Kenya tuko juu.
Okay, you talk of that appreciating Kenya. Let me tell you guys, and I love us tell this to every African, because I've also been to, let me say 7-8 African countries now. I can only say that sometimes we cry a lot and criticize our countries. We say the way it's very bad. You know, we talk about bad things when we are here about our country. But I want me to tell you that when I was outside there, yes, despite the good experiences I had, the fun and everything, and remember I was a student and a stipend. So whether you work or not, at the end of the month, money is coming. You know, that's the thing. So you have a chance to have all the fun that you want to have because you are under stipend, you know, for those ones who are under scholarship. But that is not the case if you are not under scholarship. You will have to work your part for you to get that money to consume. Now, for me, what made me appreciate Kenya? First, interacting with people from other countries. I realized that even our teachers here are highly paid than most of other African countries. You know, like whenever we could complain about something, you know, somebody could look at you and it's like, dude, what are you complaining? You got that little money? And I'm like, what? And then there's an aspect about Kenya in terms of freedom that we enjoy in this country. Some of the things, yes, outside there, these big countries buried themselves that they are the democratic fry. I don't know, there's a lot of democracy and freedom of speech, but trust me, there are some things that they can never say openly, you know. All our citizens cannot say openly or even criticize the government openly, as we do here in Kenya. It's only in Kenya where somebody goes to Facebook and composes a song, a very bad song about the president, you know, and we are making it in TikTok and doing challenges about it. That one you cannot try in some of these other countries. And then in Kenya we have a very good internet system, by the way. By the way, that one nobody will lie to me that our internet and Wi-Fi system, although we got it like I think just the other day, but we have a very strong internet system, and we even have freedom in terms of what we download in the internet. In Germany, if you ever downloaded a video from the internet, you pay for it. Hapa unaenda tu unapata Diamond ameweka wimbo yake, unaidownload na unautumia, na hakuna mtu mwenye anakutumia pili, you know. Sauti Sol wanaweka wimbo yao, wameimba wameweka YouTube, unaenda unaangalia na una download unaiweka kwako, unakuwa unacheza kila siku. But the truth of the matter, try that one in a country like Germany, you will have to pay for it. So I started appreciating the small things that we enjoy in Kenya, by the way, that we couldn't get outside there. You know, even waking up, kutafuta nyumba, unaamka tu kerende, mnaanza kusitafuta around and you know, hakuna mtu mwenye atakuitisha eti sijui wapi, contract yako iko wapi, hakuna kitu kama hicho. But outside there, like, uwezi amka hivyo eti umetoka sijui wapi ninakuja kukuhost kwangu. It's, you know, hapa tunapatana campus watu kama wangapi? 5 ama 4. Yeah. We say to take one house and we stay there. Landlord hata anajua mmoja. You know, landlord only knows one, but hiyo nyumba ina house watu kama 4. You cannot try that one outside there. Every person who lives in your house you have to be accountable for, like, who lives there, for how long, what's their names, and hiyo nyumba inatosha watu 4, you know. So I started appreciating Kenya so much yani kuna tule tu vitu tulikuwa tunaonanga tu ni uchinga. I just appreciating Kenya, and that's why for me I'm always like East or West, Kenya still the best country in terms of after interacting huko nchi hizo countries zote nimetembea. I still appreciate Kenya, and that's why I was always proud every platform I stood to speak. I could start that I am so and so, I'm from Kenya, you know, like, and I am from Nairobi, the only green city under the sun. That one always had to be there because I realized how valuable Kenya was in terms of freedom and everything. Now, Mr. Wamkoya, ulituambia ulikuwa unafanya kazi. How was your experience working in Turkey? Na kama kuna mtu mwenye tuseme anataka kwenda kufanya kazi akishafika huko nje, because kuna watu wengine wanaendanga alafu wanafanya kazi wanajifunza.
Yeah, the Turkish people don't know English. Hawajui kizungu sana, but kuna hii wave. Unajua Turkey generally was kind of an Arabic country. Alafu their first president anaitwanga Ataturk. Ataturk means like the ancestor of Turkey. Anaitwa Mustafa Kemal. Ndio ali collaborate na French people from their history, and then came up with the language Turkish, ikajitoa kwa ile maandishi ya Kiarabu ya kuchora na ikaanza kwa hizi syllables. So aliweka in kind of a secular state, na as much as the current regime atakanga kuregesha huko, but there's that aspect ya kutaka kuwa secular in that wenye wanajua kizungu apart from that Turkish inaonekana ni kama wako juu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the rich who wanachukua watoto wao in some private classes kusoma English. So there's this gentleman from Turkey mwenye ameanzisha something like a school, kind of a baby care school where you teach people English based on their grades. So nilitafuta job hapo sababu huko nyumbani nilikuwa nimeacha wifi hako na niko majuu. Sasa lazima pesa zikuje. So nilikuwa nafanya kazi zangu alafu naenda huko around 3, alafu kazi inaisha 6. Yeah, and it was that's ubaya kwamba ungekuwa unafunza mtoto wa minister. Unaona? Na wewe mwenyewe unaje?
Na hapa nyumbani hata kukua karibu na huyo mtoto.
Yes.
Security.
Sasa I think I had some problems with my supervisor or my employer kidogo, tu kupelekana poa. And I don't know, sijui mimi ndo nilimuelewa vibaya or something, but kuna venye there's a time I remember you had a problem. I can't remember which problems that and I was teaching. So I told my colleague, sababu there's a time tulikuwa tunafunza walimu wawili, because hao watoto lazima mkuwe na mtu wa kuwatuliza na mwingine wa kufunza. So nikaambia huyo mwalimu, hebu nishikie kidogo, I have to talk to my wife. And then my supervisor mwenye alikuwa ameniemploy alikuwa ameenda government duties zile zenye kama umegraduate you have to do the mandatory duties za kiserikali. Yeah. Sasa akaachia the brother was running a school for adults. Yeah. Sasa the brother really harassed me so much. Nikamwambia I have a problem with my wife, and he told me you can quit the job and go and talk to your wife. Yeah, it was so bad for me, and that's how I quit that job. Evil too, and uzuri ni kwamba ilikuja mwisho kama namaliza shule, and I just came back home. That is how kidogo tu pale ndio kulikuwa na shida, but they pay well and everything else is good, especially ukiwa na mtu mwenye amekuwa employed na gain your trust na najua kwamba you from Africa, you know how to speak. In fact, they think English is our first language, so they always treat you well, and they prefer we foreigners to teach them English, because when you employ a Turkish person who knows how to speak English, will speak Turkish with them and they'll not learn. So generally, apart from this small thing that made me quit that job, the other part of the time I was with them, it was extremely good.
So I think one of the things that comes out, and maybe I understand why the guy was telling you that outside there, many times people are paid per hour. Actually, people are paid per hour. Most of the time, isi kazi zenye si permanent. People are paid per hour. And maybe like in Germany, you are paid 13 euro per hour. And therefore, the white person and expect like this 1 hour you are accounting for it, like all your labor and efforts are accounted for within this 1 hour. So like if we find you like uko kwa simu, it feels like this 1 hour, the 13 euro anakupatia, you are not utilizing it. The funny thing is that they are not like that to Africans alone. They are like that even to their fellow white people in terms of accounting for the hours that you are working for, because you are paid per hour. So I think this one should send a message. Kuna naonanga watu wanaika mapicha, ama unasikia mtu anakwambia eti anahani sijui ni 100,000 sijui 200,000 as a cleaner abroad. Of course hiyo ni story yenye tutakuja kuongea in another episode actually, because there's a lot of uongo pia huko, wale ambao mchaenda majuu, those ones of you have not gone abroad, there's a lot of lies that you are being fed by the people who have gone outside there, in terms of the way they are making lots of money, the way like money is everywhere, you brag. The thing is, abroad, every coin you have to account for it, in terms of like umeifanyia kazi. It's not like here in Kenya where I would just find you and tell you, please give me 100 shillings, and then you don't even ask for me, like I don't return that money and we are good. No. Abroad somebody will give you 1 euro and it will remind you, you have my 1 euro, because it's something people work for. There's a lot of, you have to be accountable, responsible, and they expect a lot of honesty. Hata ukienda break, like when you go for break, you have to indicate how wrong was your break. You just, not like here somebody reaches office, leaves a coat, comes out, you cannot do that abroad. And I think that's why when he was found speaking with me, he was told you have to quit, you can quit the job and speak with your wife, because they expect you have to organize yourself in a way that when it's work hours is work hours, and family hours are family hours, all day time is all day time, break time, it's that very serious. That's why when their supermarkets, if they are opening at 7, they exactly mean 7, and if they are closing at exactly 8, even if you reach there 8:01, they will not open for you, they are done. So I think that was the case, and because of that, I think we will do another video about jobs abroad.
Yeah, it's true.
Jobs abroad, because outside here unasikia your sister, your brother ameenda majuu, your cousin ameenda majuu, and you expect that person is now a millionaire ama a billionaire, and you want them to be sending you money, because people have come to online, wamewadanganya sijui they are earning sijui 300k 500k, and you don't sit down to ask yourself, by the end of the day, this 500k, how does it end, or how is it spent? So in our next video, I think we will talk about jobs abroad and the payment in terms of jobs and the deductions, etc. Ndio ukiplani kutoka hapa usiende huku ukapiwa na culture shock ukafainti bure. Otherwise for me those are our experiences. Of course outside there is fun.
True.
There's making friends.
It's true, you can make friends.
Na kuna kufunguka akili. Actually outside there utafunguka akili. Trust me. You see the world from a different perspective. By the way, ujinga yenye unashindanga ukifuatilia maisha ya watu hapa sijui huyu amefanya nini, you will not. Trust me, because you will learn to mind your own business.
I think that is,
You will learn to mind your own business. Hakuna mtu mwenye atakwambia mind your own business, but eventually you learn your own business. But for the students and those people who are in the world of research and academia, it is a very great opportunity to share your ideas in the international arena and the platform, and you will be surprised how some of the ideas you have been pitching locally here zinashikiliwa huko juu, watu wanakutafuta literally. So it is a bye from me, and see you next time
in a new video
tujue kuhusu jobs abroad.
Bye.
Bye.